So, I guess to start this, I have a slight bit of a confession to make to you because as good at geography as I was as a kid, I for some reason got Birmingham confused with like Liverpool and Manchester and the cities in the north. I didn't realize it was kind of equidistant in the middle, which
It's literally in an area called the Midlands. Yes.
right. And which I guess in some ways is good because if I had thought about it that way, it could have quickly devolved because I know up north that's Yorkshire territory, and this could very quickly devolve into a Monty Python skit. But my my question for you is because you and I are of similar age and growing up in Birmingham, the first thing I knew as an American about Birmingham was that Black Sabbath came from Birmingham. And
Yes, indeed.
yes, they did. You also gave us Richard Hammond, another conversation, another day. But for you growing up in the early 70s in Birmingham, what was that like for you? And how much did that have an impact, do you think, on the sort of stories you came up with and your just kind of approach to what you have done with your career?
That's really hard to quantify. I mean, the truth is that I was born in Birmingham, but I grew up in a small town outside Birmingham called Redditch. It's about not far, like 20 miles south of Birmingham, um, where my parents moved when I was 3 years old, I think. Um, but I still had relatives in Birmingham. My grandparents, both sets of grandparents still lived there, all that sort of thing. So I still had that connection with the city, but I grew up in, as I say, in this town called Redditch, which is it's a medium-sized town, but it has a small town mentality. And I think that actually did have a big impact on me because I desperately wanted to get out of the small town and back to the city, as so many young people do. And I think that I think that had an effect in that it encouraged a wider perspective in me, which is something that I try to get across in my work. And I hope my work has, most of my characters are either worldly people who don't sort of think twice about moving somewhere or visiting somewhere, or, they're consciously not parochial. Or if they are parochial, they, are people who learn not to be, or who see the unfortunate consequences of being so. So I guess it had that kind of effect. As for the heavy metal connection, I don't know whether that's a work thing necessarily, but it definitely had a huge influence on me personally. I'm a big heavy metal fan. One of the podcasts I do is a heavy metal podcast. I worship at the feet of Black Sabbath. I have done things like uh, my epic post-apocalyptic comic series Wasteland is very gothic and quite metal in places. And for example, every issue of that comic was named for a song. Many of them were heavy metal songs. Same with the trade paperback collections as well. They were all named after songs. There are there are lyrics of some heavy metal and goth songs kind of hidden in there, in characters' dialogue, and characters make allusions to, sort of figures from that scene. So I mean, that's a small work influence, if you like, but it definitely had an influence on me. And again, part of that influence was about encouraging open-mindedness, because, and this is where I get on a hobby horse, because heavy metal has a bad rap amongst a lot of people. But one of the reasons that I like metal and I like the heavy metal community is that it's not insular and it's not narrow-minded. It's actually very, very open-minded. Generally, it's open to experimentation. It's open to other genres sort of blending with metal, in the same way that superhero comics are open to lots of different genres sort of influencing, the genre of superheroes. Metal is very similar in that way. And I mean, I listen to a huge, wide variety of music. I'm a great music lover. I listen to a lot of it, and I listen to lots of stuff besides metal. But one of the things that having a love of metal really instilled in me in an early age, as I say again, was this idea that it's okay to see new things, to experience new things, and to enjoy new things, and to seek out new things and new experiences. And I really think that that's had a positive influence on me personally, but I think that has influenced my work as well, because I refer to myself as a sort of genre butterfly. I refuse to kind of get pigeonholed into one genre, and I have really flitted around between genres throughout my entire career, possibly to my detriment. I could possibly have been a sort of more successful in a single area if I'd knuckled down and focused on it, but I would be bored. I don't want to do that. I want to do all the different things. So yeah, broadly speaking, I'd say all of that are factors in that approach to my work. In terms of the content of my work, though, as I say, I don't think it's really had that much of an influence. It's more about an attitude towards creativity.
Hey guys, Devin here. Thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and check out the links below for more great original content. Talk to you soon. Bye.